Every day, highly educated professionals, doctors, executives, engineers, find themselves buried in debt, while ordinary workers on average salaries quietly build generational wealth. Picture a corporate lawyer making $250,000 a year, but living paycheck to keep up appearances. Now contrast them with a frugal janitor who works steadily, saves consistently, and retires a multimillionaire. Society teaches us to treat personal finance like a math problem. We are told that if we just plug our income and expenses into the right spreadsheet, logic will dictate our choices. High intelligence often acts as a mask for emotional bias. A high IQ helps people construct complex, rational-sounding justifications for the same impulsive decisions that ruin everyone else. To achieve financial freedom, we have to look past the spreadsheet and address the specific mental traps that keep even the brightest people from long-term security. The first trap is the belief that we have total control over our outcomes. When we see someone succeed, we assume their wealth is entirely the result of hard work. When they fail, we assume it is entirely their fault. Consider the case of Bill Gates. While he is brilliant and strategic, he benefited from a specific 1 in a million stroke of luck. In the 1970s, he happened to attend one of the only high schools in America with a computer terminal, allowing him to log years of programming practice before most of the world even saw a keyboard. At that same school was his friend Kent Evans, who was equally brilliant and obsessed with coding. But Kent died in a mountaineering accident before finishing high school, a 1 in a million stroke of uncontrollable risk. We ignore this mix of luck and risk when we build our financial plans. A spreadsheet assumes steady growth and zero emotional distress. But when the market drops 30% in a week, the spreadsheet remains calm, while the human investor panics. Because you cannot control these outside forces, your only defense is to build a margin of safety. You need a buffer of savings that protects you when the world deviates from your plan, or when your own emotions try to override your logic. The second trap involves confusing the appearance of riches with the reality of wealth. When a bright red Ferrari rolls down the street, pedestrians rarely look at the driver with admiration. Instead, they look at the car and imagine themselves in the driver's seat. We buy luxury items to earn respect, but observers typically use those items as a mirror for their own desires. This pristine white Porsche represents a visible status symbol. What remains invisible are the high-interest loans, the lack of financial breathing room, and the quiet stress required to maintain the facade. Wealth is actually defined by what society doesn't see. It consists of the sports cars you decided not to buy, the lifestyle upgrades you ignored, and the assets quietly compounding in the background. Spending money to prove to others how much money you have is the fastest way to end up with less of it. The third trap is the belief that we can predict market swings, time our investments perfectly, and hack our way to quick riches. While most stocks remain flat, a tiny fraction produces the majority of market gains. These are tail events. Buffett's net worth comes from just 10 investments. By staying invested for 80 years, he gave those rare tail events time to compound into a massive curve. Volatility is the price of admission for those gains. Accepting the gut punch of a 30% market drop is the fee you pay for the chance to let compounding work in your favor over the long run. Investors who try to bypass that Appraisal fee by jumping in and out of the market or by copying the short-term strategies of day traders typically destroy their own portfolios in the process. Getting rich and staying rich are two different skills. Building wealth requires offensive traits, like risk-taking and boldness. Keeping that wealth requires defense, caution, frugality, and a healthy dose of paranoid humility. A strong financial defense provides something more valuable than luxury, the ability to own your time. Wealth, at its peak, functions as a tool for autonomy. Social science studies consistently show that the ability to control your own schedule is the most dependable predictor of human happiness. Waking up every morning and knowing you can do what you want when you want is the highest dividend money can pay. Stop trying to build a perfectly rational, spreadsheet-driven financial plan. Decide what enough means to you and build a reasonable life that protects your peace of mind above all else.